Bang! Neeves Knives, I'm Jared, and today we have a new Ganzo. I haven't seen a new Ganzo in a long time, so I wanted to show you guys because this thing is really awesome. But there is one issue we're going to talk about, but not only does it look attractive and look good, I mean, I like the way they did the pivot and everything, but man, this flipping action, the way they designed this flipper and the detent, that was completely my fault. On the button lock, it has some of the most crisp, listen. Not sure if it's gonna come over the mic the way it sounds, but you can hear that break from the detent. You have so much leverage on that flipper tab, it just whips out fast, like super fast. Very reliable, has a nice sound when you hear it crack open. Another cool thing is that when you close it, you see how it doesn't bounce out. A lot of button locks will bounce out because the tension's just not strong enough when it closes. This one, you see how it catches it. Even if I'm like this, it will still catch it. Now, if I hold down the button, yeah, of course it'll bounce, but that's because I'm holding down the button. And we have D2 steel liners, G10, and then I think this is a titanium. Yeah, no, sorry. It is not titanium. It is a steel pocket clip. Beautiful satin finish on the blade. Like I said, D2, and then, you know, this is a non-deep carry clip. The G10 is nice and grippy. I actually like this clip. One, it's very comfortable in the hand, and two, it gives you something to pull in and out of the pocket. Now, another thing is the button lock is very solid. I have spine whacked it a bunch. It's been very solid. They did a good job. Now, here's another thing. I didn't realize this was a front flipper. For a minute, I went to just reach over, and I don't know what made me do it, but it works really. It's like hardly there. I'm not even sure if this was intended to be a front flipper, but it works great. Yes, if it was exposed a little bit more, it would definitely be better. I can't do the side finger like this, but the reach over is very easy, and then, you know, the regular thumb flick is pretty easy. So, like I said, I'm not sure if it was intentional or not, but it works. It works great. And like I said, it has a nice look to it, like with the pivot and everything. The jimping is extremely well done. Blade shape, beautiful drop point blade, something that everybody's going to know and be comfortable using. Ergonomics are amazing. You have a spot right here to choke up. So, you know, you can get right behind that edge, or, you know, you can stay choked back. You have the jimping right there to lock you in. It's not a super big knife. It's also not a small knife. Yes, I wish it was Nitro V or 14C28N. I'd love to see Ganzo start using that. You know, these knives are priced, though, they're very affordable. Very, very affordable. So I want to be clear about that. D2 is absolutely an amazing steel for this price, because D2 actually is a steel that holds an edge very well. Like, its bad rap just comes from it not being a great steel for mass production, as far as consistency and as far as it being at its optimal, or at its best, right? So production companies, they tend to run it, you know, the way they have to in order to do production runs, you know, as many as they can. And, you know, it just doesn't hold the same value as like a custom heat treated D2, but it's still good. And a lot of companies have gotten it down pat and have gotten the recipe down. Now, what is the issue? So what's the issue? The issue is pretty significant. So it is that damn stop pin. And I keep saying this to all the companies. Listen to me. See that stop pin right there? It can't hit there because it's literally hitting right there. See that line right there? That's where it's hitting. That's the steel I need to remove when I'm sharpening, right? That's the life of my knife when I'm sharpening. That steel needs to be removed. Granted, that, you know, that's quite a few sharpenings. But it just depends, man, how low you put your angle. I can't cut in my own plunge grinder or my own choil. So say if I did want to lower back my edge angle and I created a smile, I can't, you know, with my Dremel, I can't cut it out. So to me, that is a significant issue. Now, if, you know, you don't really sharpen that much, and it's more of just like a beater thing for you, then yeah, it's fine. But, if you're wanting to really use this as a user and sharpen it 100 times, you might not want this particular model. So first and foremost is the sharpening choil and plunge grind from the start. I wish it had a bigger gap, and I wish it was separated so you didn't get a smile when you sharpen. Also, where the stop pin lands is right there, stops you from being able to cut in your own choil, and it also prevents you from sharpening a lot of life off of this blade all the way back to the heel. Now, you could just leave that part alone and sharpen forward of it, but that would look ridiculous after a long time. But, you'd get your money out of it probably. And then other than that, T6s, I wish they were T8s. It does have a T8 pivot, but these are T6s, and that's a T6. They strip out very easily. So I'd prefer it to be a little bit more of a durable, just a durable screw. Centering's perfect. The action is addicting, like so addicting. I can't express how snappy and just how the braking action of this thing, how it feels and sounds. Like, it's very hard to put this thing down from fidgeting with it. And that's just the flipper part, like not even considering the front flipper part. Because the front flipper, going back to negatives, it could be a little bit more proud, or they could have knocked down this corner right here so that this was exposed a little bit more. Now, luckily they did put the exact kind of jimping. I believe that's wire EDM jimping, which does have a nice sandpaper-like feel where it's grippy, but it's not sharp. This is really good jimping as well. So when your finger's on it, it just grips you back. But yeah, I wish the front flipper was just a little bit more exposed. That would definitely improve its ability, even though, it does work well for what it's worth. Yeah, man, I like it so much. I just wish it didn't have that one significant issue. Another thing, this button, look at how flush it is. So you're very unlikely to ever hit that button by accident. I mean, you have to intentionally push that button past the G10. So you have that groove cut out. So it's, a little bit of a safety feature right there, which I do appreciate. And the clip works great, super smooth in and out of the pocket. If that stop pin wasn't there, man, I would be screaming to people, you got to get this one. This is one you got to get. Now, I would say for the money, it's not that big of a deal. Like I said, you're going to get your money out of it regardless. But, if you're somebody who wants to spend very little and hang on to something for a very, very, very long time and get the most out of it, this might not be the one. But anyways, there you guys go. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.